Learning. So, what is learning? Now, it was really funny. I was doing a training the other day, and I asked this question of highly educated adults, and it took about 6 or 7 minutes for people to really start to chime in about what their concepts of learning are, what it means to be a learner, or what is that process. And so some of the things that people said was that learning horizons is what someone else said. Doing things that you've never done before, and creating these new experiences, and retaining those to use at another time. And I agree with all of those. But then I reflect on a relationship that I have with my young niece. And this story goes back a long time. And this is what I really, all the college classes that I took, all the postgraduate education courses and the CEUs and all that kind of stuff that I got, and certificates, really never taught me what my 4-year-old niece taught me about learning. And so here it is. It's Monday night. My sister's cooking dinner for her family. My 4-year-old niece at the time comes into the kitchen to help and puts her hand on the stove. What happens to my niece's hand? It gets burned. She has an owie. Yeah, and she cries. Tuesday night, my sister is cooking dinner for her family. My 4-year-old niece walks into the kitchen to help and puts her hand on the stove. Psst. Did my niece learn? Most people say, no, she didn't learn. And how do I know? What is the evidence that I have that she didn't learn? She did it again. A lot of times when we talk about learning, and we talk about developing or changing who we want to be, or molding ourselves in the direction of our dreams and desires in terms of our destiny, we very rarely talk about learning in terms of a change in behavior. Now, I will battle and say that it's much more than that, but for the most part, it is evidenced. Learning is evidenced by a change in behavior. For example, if I go to carpentry school, it is my expectation that I will have a different behavior as a result of that educational experience. Right? I'll cut better. Right? In the case of going to school to be an accountant, it is my expectation that I will have accountant behaviors. I will be able to be an accountant after that learning experience. When we talk about diversity, and a lot of people talk about diversity trainings and how they don't like them, and I agree, I don't like them, typically because when we talk about those things, we never get to talking about how do I change my behavior. Learning is not just acquiring these things, but is actually, as the kids say, walking it out. So how do you walk out the things that you learn? Are you being what you've been studying or trying to be, whether that's negative or positive? So ask yourself, what is learning?